Okay, now, if I want to make you an all-rounder, this is what we all want to be. How you should be. Check it out. Check here. Okay. Can you pronounce this word?
Quotient.
No. Quotient, right? Quotient. What's the meaning of quotient? Measure, right? Measure. Something that helps you to measure, right? Okay. Have you heard the name of this one? Intelligence. What's that? Intelligence quotient. I think all of you know this one. Right? All of you know this one? IQ. You say that, you know what, he's so good in math. His IQ is really good. Right? But what's the meaning of IQ? Intelligence quotient, right? But this quotient is not the only one that makes human being all-rounder. There are much more quotients, and we'll go forward. This is what intelligence quotient. This is number one. So what is intelligence quotient? The ability to solve puzzle, the ability to solve mathematical problems, the ability to solve any kind of problems instantaneously is known as intelligence quotient. Meaning that, let me give you an example. Simple. Like the AC, you see that if I feel like there is no remote for the AC in the classroom, and somehow a student, he opened his phone and he started monitoring the AC, right? Without even with the remote. But we people are waiting for the what? Remote. But he started to solve the problem with the mobile phone. That's called what? Because meaning that he has a very good IQ to solve the problem instantaneously, right? Get it? That's called what? Intelligence quotient. Very good. Now if I just draw here, so this is called intelligence quotient. Can you write it down? Quotient. This is called what? I? Very good. Now if I say that something like social quotient, this is called what? Very good. If I say you something like that, emotional quotient, it's known as EQ. And if I say something like that, adversity quotient, it's known as what? Very good. Now come for the, if it's number one, then let it be number two is social quotient. Okay, social quotient is really significant. You find that there are two types of personality, that one is introvert and one is extrovert, right? Some people are really afraid of interacting with a stranger, and some people are really good at interacting with the strangers, and some people are really good at making relationships, and some people are really bad at breaking the relationships. So we all have this kind of people, right? Someone is really extrovert. And have you ever met like if you're in a public bus, you find that there's some people, they come in front of you, they start talking with you, but you're never enjoying the conversation, but he wants to hold the conversation with you. I think it happens in the public bus most often, right? Or even in the train. If you're having a journey on the train, you find the people that start to gossip, like it's political, social, or anything. He wants to have a listening partner or something, but he wants to have a story to tell you. It means what? It means that the person is not bad actually. The problem is that he's too much extrovert. And maybe you're too much introvert to accept his conversation, right? So what is social quotient? The social quotient is the ability, social quotient is what? Your ability to speak or to interact with the people, with the strangers, or if I say you directly, it's called networking. It's called what? Networking with the people. What is the meaning of social quotient then? Hey. Respond. What is the meaning of the social quotient? It's something, the art of networking with the people. And now you have so many complaints, like you said that, my friend who doesn't have a good degree, who doesn't have a good result, but he got a very good job. You start blaming him, right? But you know what? He had a very good network, and that's why he got the job. Don't blame him.
Blame yourself.
Blame yourself, because he had a good network and he got the job. Right? So that's called what? He has a very good skill. He says what? Social quotient. Done? And then come for the emotional quotient. Emotional quotient is something, the ability just to deal with your emotions, because emotion is something is really fluctuations. Or even I can say that, it's something like, have you heard the name of inflation?
Yes.
In the money, in the market, the money, sometimes the value of the dollar increases and the value of the dollar decreases. So that's called inflation, something like that. So same thing. The emotional quotient is something that you are always stable. You are always stable just to deal with your emotion. Very much stable. It's not like if you have a breakup, right? What do? You start cutting your hand. And you are drinking Harpic all day because you can't afford to have alcohol, so you are drinking Harpic or Sablon, right? You need something to drink, right? So you do that. We are, and then you do what? You know what? You just stand in front of the roof and you just look down and you think that, I wish I could jump. That is called emotional instability, meaning that you have a problem with your emotion. You can't control your emotion at all. But the person, as a human being, who has a very stable emotion, he can be very much lucrative in the society. Because, we suffer much more in our imagination than our reality. Because you find that your imagination disturbs you a lot, not the reality. You want it to be this, so your imagination keeps you dragging all the time. You wanted to have a Mercedes-Benz, but still you are a driver of a Toyota Corolla, right? So it disturbs you a lot. You wanted to study at NCU, but you're studying at the Scholars. Betrayal with your imagination all the time. But when you have a balance of your emotional stability, meaning that you can control your emotion, exactly know what to pitch high and what to pitch down, then you become stable. It means that you have a very perfect blend of emotion. And the guy who possesses that quality will go a long way. Because the problem that if you're lagging behind in your life, it's only because emotionally you're too dumb. You become too much emotional in every cases. If you can control the emotion, you can be a supreme human being. Done? Done. The last one. What is the last one? Adversity quotient. This adversity quotient is much more significant than all rest of the threes. You find what? That this life is full of what? Tragedies. This life is what? Full of tragedies. You find that all the time. I think what happens, let me give you an example. You find that if I say you directly that, you find that the deception is everywhere, right? People are deceiving you all the time. I think you can stop for the attendance right now, please. Okay. People are deceiving you all the time, and you are being deceived, or sometimes you are the deceiver who loves to deceive. We all do that, right? So the adversity is very much common, and sometimes you are being stricken by the poverty. Are we not? Don't we strike by the poverty? Sometimes we are. And sometimes you find that life is absolutely imbalanced. You become hopeless. You don't find what to do and what is not to do. You don't find actually that, like Shakespeare has said it right, like sometimes you feel like to live or not to live, to die or not to die, to love or not to love, right? To deceive or not to deceive. All the time you are in an indecision. That's called adversity of life. But there are some people, they break this adversity and they break the shackles and they come up successful. You have to very much balanced. When you find that let me give an example. Like you are on the bus and you forget to bring your wallet. You forget to bring what? Your wallet. And you don't have any big cash, nothing to do at all. So how will you convince the contractor of the bus? You need emotion, meaning that if you have very much emotional quotient, if you possess, it's going to help you out. And then you must have what? The adversity quotient, meaning that when you're on the tragedies, you can really help you out. Just taking the right decision, just convincing, man, you know what, I forget to bring the wallet. And even if you're really good in conversation, I think then he'll say, you know, mama maaf kore dilam. Right? But so you find that you keep arguing with him, but you have this kind of intelligence that's going to help you out. So, but let me tell you one thing. I think, you know, in this classroom, you may lack this quality that is called IQ, right? I know that. My students don't have this. I know that. And it's really difficult to possess. That's why I always give the example of Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi. Lionel Messi is someone who's really gifted. He doesn't have a good body. He's very much miniature creature. He's very much short. And think of Cristiano Ronaldo. He's almost 6 feet, almost, and he's a very good body, right? It's something like the IQ, the knowledge. The Cristiano Ronaldo's skill is not God gifted. It's something like he created himself, right? He just created himself. He made himself. And Messi is gifted. You find that when Messi is running to and fro, meaning here and there, you find that there is a huge difference between the running of Cristiano Ronaldo and the running of Messi, right? Huge difference. And you find that Messi doesn't have that much body, but still he is #1 player in the world, right? It's meaning what? Messi might have very much what? Good IQ of football, right? He exactly understands how to score, where to score. You know what? I don't mind if you don't have this one, but I would mind if you don't have these 3, because these 3 can be possessed. You have to earn these 3 qualities by yourself. It cannot be God gifted. And this 3 quality belongs to whom? Ronaldo, right? He made it himself. And this quality, you know, he may lack this. And you know what? In the society, who is becoming successful? The student who is really good in math? No. The student who is capable of having an emotional stability and who has a very good connection in the society. He's doing great in the society. And now you find what? Have you seen the businessman? Whoever is in the political power, you find that the businessman is always with the political power side, right? Think of, if I give you an example of Beksimko, right? Salman Efroma, right? He's a very good tie with the current political party. And he's the economical advisor of Prime Minister, right? Now think of that. This is called absolutely, you know, great example of SQ, right? He exactly knows what to do for his business, right? Social quotient, making the networking. And think of emotional thing. Emotional thing is not something that it has to be revealed from God. No, you have to make it by yourself. You have to create yourself. Did God say you know what? Go and fall in love? Did God say it to you? Did God say it to you? No, go and fall in love. Did God say it to you? No. So it's your fault you're falling in love. Did God say to you like, you know what? When you become ashik, like diwana or something like that, you start crying all day. Did God say it to you? No, it's your fault. It's meaning what? That sometimes, you know, things that you can control, you have to control by yourself. Don't blame God. But you know, we have a very much bad tendency that when things don't go well in our life, we don't blame ourselves, we start blaming what? Either my fellow colleague or either my fellow friends or God. And when things are not going well at all, Allah ja chaise tai hoise amar ki. Right? This is what we do, right? Because we are human beings. We all love to blame people. So I want to say you that if you don't have this IQ, I don't mind. But trust me, this SQ and EQ can take you a long way in your life. These two things, social quotient and emotional quotient. And the most powerful is adversity quotient. Because I know when you are continuing your study, there will be so many students, they will be dropping out in the next semester. It's not due to that they don't want to study. It's due to because they don't have, they will be stricken by the poverty. But the guy who wants to study, the individual who wants to carry on their study, if you have a deep desire to carry on your study, nothing can stop you. Be responsible. Don't blame that I don't have money. Because you know what? If you have problem of money, it can be solved. But you have the problem of your mind, it has to be solved by yourself. I cannot solve it. Clear? So meaning that if I want you people just to possess these three qualities, I don't mind if you have 0% of IQ. Clear?
Yes, sir.
And now it says that, it says that don't prepare the road for your children. Prepare your children for the road. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Done? Clear, everyone?
Yes, sir.
I think it's not clear. What's that? You know what? We want our children to grow up in a way that, you know what? You say your daughter or you say your son that, you know what? Don't be afraid. I'm doing everything for you. Right? You prepare everything for your children. And then you find, when he grow up, then you start blaming your children, right? You don't know nothing. You're dumb. But that's not his fault. You did it. You allowed him to be dependent on you. You never just taught him to be independent. And it says by, I think it says by Bernard Shaw. It says that if you're feeding your children with the spoon, that's called spoon feeding, right? Have you heard the term? Spoon feeding? If you're feeding your children with the spoon all the time, at a certain period of time, he only knows the shape of the spoon. He doesn't know how to feed himself. Problem. That's the serious problem we have. So don't always think that, I will prepare the road for you. Sometimes you have to prepare yourself for the road so that you can walk on the road. Get it?
Yes, sir.
Done? Thank you. You can stop the recording. And if you have any question, you can go for it.